Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. It's Sunita from Angelic Awakening. Welcome. So, I'm here today to just come on for an hour or so and talk about mental health. So, this has just come up just from experiencing and talking to people, the need, like talking to everybody while I'm at work, as well as just in general. I think everyone's noticed that their anxiety in the last 12 months since the COVID thing has really escalated anxiety to its highest levels in the community and globally as well. So the angels wanted to talk about anxiety and mental health and just things that can help us in regards to mental health and understanding why it's occurring, what we're going through, and what lessons we need to be learning. So this is a really important video for people who are experiencing mental health issues right now or just having a tough time with life. So we're just going to get into the energy first. So I might bring the candle over here. So our purpose today is to call in Archangel Raphael to overlight this video, to call in the angels, guides, teachers, whoever need to be here to bring guidance and clarity and understanding on what's going on for us all right now globally, on a humanitarian level as well as an individual level, and to get some guidance, tips, advice and understanding around what we can do around our mental health in this time at this moment with love and light. We ask that the angels and guides surround each and every person who watches this video to gain the most out of this, to allow the learning to occur for the highest good, and so it is. So, I've got some couple of decks of cards, so I was going to just channel through Archangel Raphael just to see what he would like to talk about in regards to mental health. So, he first wanted to talk about what is mental health. So because we're spiritual beings having a physical experience, he wanted to talk about mental health in its entirety, due to the fact that mental health is completely different to physical health and spiritual health. It kind of they work all together systematically, but to get an understanding of what mental health is about on a spiritual level and how you can help yourself in these times of when your mental health is getting stretched to its capacity or its max. So Archangel Raphael is talking first about what is mental health. So it's to do of a state of well-being in the mind. So when your mind is balanced, you're centered, you're in alignment with your higher self, you're allowing it to be a channel for the greatest good. So sometimes if you're in alignment and your mental health is in a good space, you find that life, even though you have your challenges, you're able to overcome them with great ease and grace. Not saying the lessons are easy, but you find that you're able to go with the flow and trust and have all those beautiful qualities. But we got tested 1 to 2 years ago when things started to be shaken up. Humanity was brought into a state of really facing their fears, facing the reality of how this world has been, facing the truths of what's been going underneath everything. So what all the falsehood of things, the reality of things which aren't actual reality, it's actually reality, if that makes sense. So when we've been plugged into the matrix, which was done for us for our highest good from the cosmic beings and the angels way at the beginning of time, this was done due to the fact that over periods of civilizations, we actually climbed to power quite quickly, but we never learnt the important lesson of grace and holding power within love. And we, each civilization, each time have learnt bit by bit, moment by moment. So it's all accumulated to this kind of time where we're on this earth at this time. So the understanding is we're in our most pivotal point when it comes to ascension and upgrades, and just really walking our path in alignment with our higher self, our mind and spirit and body, just being in harmony with each other. In order for that to happen, the angels are saying that we had a great upheaval, as we all know. And what it's really doing is loosening up all the debris, loosening up all the heaviness within the psyche of man, so that we're able to become clearer channels within the mind, the body and the spirit. So that's essentially what's going on. It's like the dark night of the soul. All that stuff's coming up to be healed, to be brought into the light, so that we're able to reclaim our sovereignty, our power, so they no longer have a power over us, whatever it may be within mankind. So whether it's to do with greed, money, whatever the lessons may be. It's there are common themes throughout humanity, but there's also individual things we've got to learn. So really, it's been a time of reflection, solitude, going within. So because of what's been going on around the planet, we've been forced to stay in homes. We've been forced to kind of look at our lives on a real microscopic level, because what we've been doing is just getting further away from our truth. We've really been getting distracted from what really is meant to be happening, which is our ascension path. And it's almost like we've been brought back to center, so that we're able to start standing within our divinity again and start taking back our power from external forces. Because what's happened over generations is, and even millennia, is through man going through each civilization, we've given our power away to external things and always believed that the power was outside of ourselves, or the power kind of was temporary, and we always utilize power so in civilizations like Atlantis, Atlantis and other civilizations that we've had and incarnated in, we've actually learned a lot about power and control and balance. And so this lifetime and all these lifetimes leading up to this, we're at a really pivotal point where we're kind of shifting the scales of light and dark and bringing it back into balance, so there's a kind of a happy medium and more harmonious energy on the planet. Mother Gaia is also ascending, so she's also kicking up a fuss, if that makes sense. So she's also doing her own ascension pathways. She's also helping us in a very big way to ascend with her, because being on this planet helps our energy to move and shift. So if you can imagine Mother Gaia saying like volcanoes erupting, earthquakes happening, things like that are happening right now because it's releasing energy, releasing negativity. So really she's helping us to ascend and move the energy out from the planet up into the cosmos to be recycled into the light. So we're really going through a very, very powerful, pivotal point in humanity. So that's the first thing Raphael wants to talk about. This is why this is so huge, why it's impacted on us, onto the core of us. It's because we all intrinsically know that what we are going through is really important, and it's also needed. It's tough. It's really tough. The angels are saying they get it. They get why it's so tough for us. But they're saying out of it on the other side, there's going to be so much joy and happiness and peace from this. But we need to go through the dark in order to get to the light. So they're not saying that we need to suffer. They're saying that we have the tools within us to overcome this and rise above it. So one of the things he wanted to talk about today, Raphael, to help us in this ascension process is about mental health. So mental health for humans is about, so bringing, basically what he's talking about is going through all of, so he was trying to get you to understand how big this space is, like right now on Earth. This is why our mind is not able to tolerate all the changes and the chaos, because it's almost very unfamiliar, unknown, and it brings up fear. Fear is what it brings up, and when fear occurs, that's when the mind starts to fixate and control. So we've been in this space before in other civilizations where havoc has run riot, and we have burnt to the ground, in the sense of like some of us prevailed and ascended and some of us kind of stayed. So what they're saying is we've been in this position before, but what we have learnt from the past is how to manage the energy and move up. So the good thing is we know what we need to do. It is the point of doing it. So he's here to remind us that, first of all, we all have the energy to do this. It's utilizing that energy, and that's where the tough part comes in, learning how you can utilize your own energy to overcome this all. And it's all very different and unique to each person or being on this planet. And it's tapping into that wisdom of thyself. So really, I'm going to be doing a broad overview with Raphael around mental health. We may talk about other components of health that might be physical and spiritual, but today he really wanted to bring in the energy of mental health, because really, even myself included, the last 12 months has been tough. So he just wanted to talk about that. So the first thing, mental health. So he is talking about keeping an equilibrium in the mind. And the point of that is so that when we are going through our ascension process, the mind is not blocking what we need to do. It is actually enhancing what we need to do. So what happens is, as soon as we start being fearful, having anxiety, that starts to create a disjoint within our mind, and it creates havoc. So our thoughts and our neurons start to fire off multiple ways. Our energy starts to get scattered. We get very ungrounded. We get all out of sorts, and we just can't cope. And that's where anxiety comes in, and depression, that disconnect from self. So essentially, if you look on depression, anxiety, and mental health issues in general as a higher perspective, it's because what's happening is the mind is not able to cope with what is happening in the reality of this world. It's also being bombarded with spiritual energies, physical energies, changes. The mind just can't cope. Essentially, it has a breakdown. So it shuts down to protect the person. And whatever way that manifests is dependent on genetics, dependent on energy, dependent on karma, dependent on actually what the triggers are. So from my own experience, I've had postnatal depression as well as anxiety from family bloodline, and I have experienced it after giving birth to a child. So mental health can range from like when you're a child all the way up to when you're older, as we know. There are many spectrums of mental health. Mental health illnesses are actual genuine things that people need to go and get help for. So I'm not recommending you go and do this on your own. I'm a strong believer in collaborative kind of partnership with different modalities to help you. And what you choose is up to you. For me personally, I had to use medication. I had to use counseling, forms of spirituality, meditation. I had to use exercise. I had to use support from family and friends. So you really have to gather what's going to work for you, and that's done over a period of time. That's when you actually ask for help. The help is given to you. So really, I had to realize within myself that there was something going on. First, you've got to admit that your state of mind is not in the right space anyway. So you can have this equilibrium of mind, and then all of a sudden you can have a breakdown, trauma. It can be triggered by giving birth to a child. It can be triggered by anything. So what he's essentially saying is everyone normally on this planet goes through a period of almost going through this to learn something from it. And why it is so huge right now, mental health issues, is because everybody is going through a form of ascension, and we're all doing it together. So collectively, there is a link between all of us in regards to having a mental health illness or mental health breakdown. There's this karmic connection towards everybody. So you're not just having it for yourself, you're feeling it for the whole of humanity. So that's why it's so heavy right now, and there's so much of it. And a lot of it is just being triggered. You're being triggered. The mind's being triggered because it used to be safe before. It used to be safe, and now it's being questioned. And a lot of it is to rise above the mind and actually realize that we are not the stories we tell ourselves. So it's a combination of a lot of things, and I'm not negating mental health as being something light or something heavy. It is what it is for each person. So what Archangel Raphael is saying, first of all, acknowledging that it's okay to be not okay. It's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to be okay. So first thing Archangel Raphael is talking about in this kind of current state of affairs on the planet right now, realizing that we're all in this together. First step is that you're not actually feeling just your own energy, you're feeling everybody else's. And it's okay not to understand what's happening. It's okay to be fearful. It's okay to have anxiety about things. But the difference is staying within that. So learning to move past it or move through it. Because everyone has the ability to be able, with the help of whether it's a GP, a counsellor, friends, family, you've got to ask for help. That's the first thing. So in order for us to rise above this, you can't just do it on a micro level. You start with you, of course, first and sort out you. But once you've got yourself in a safe space mentally, you can help others with the experience that you go through. Because the biggest thing when someone's going through something is that someone understands what you're going through. And sometimes people don't, and that's okay. But the best person to walk beside people who are going through this is people that have been through it or understand, or have had a family member or a friend go through it. It just helps you to understand their perspective, because unless you've gone through it, you will not understand the complete entirety of that whole thing. And sometimes witnessing it is also a teaching tool for you and a lesson. So what he is saying is acknowledging that all of us have our degree of mental health, whether it be and it limbos, it moves from one extreme to the other all the time, because the mind is evolving. So the more we spiritually go up, the less our mind is going to have power over us. So there's almost like a war going in between the ego and the higher self. And I felt like that as well, because when I needed to step up, I needed to break the chains from my mind on a spiritual level. So with the postnatal, it wasn't just postnatal from having a baby, it was accumulation of things from the past. And so I have done a lot of work in regards to my parents, in regards to stuff that's happened in childhood. So leading up to this, it took me a long time to get to this point where I could actually work with it. And that's when the counsellor helps with the mind. So when you're getting into mental health, you're getting into the subconscious and conscious mind. This is when it gets technical, because you actually need help in order to sort this out. Also, the mind is connected to your emotions, which is connected to your body. So if you're having mental health issues, it normally manifests in your body with, say, for example, anxiety. It manifests with breathing very fast, not breathing deeply, not sleeping, and then it has a follow-on effect spiritually and emotionally. So what he is saying is, if you can kind of identify what's going on within your mind, just a state of being. So what one way he says you can do this is to have a check-in each day, because we get so caught up and busy each day that we're in a hurry to get somewhere. We don't actually start with self, and just check in and see how you're feeling. Like, are you feeling flustered today? Are you feeling anxiety? Because the depression, anxiety builds over time. It's not something just pops. It actually builds over time, and one of the triggers is people not checking in with themselves and not looking after themselves. And if you start to do that each day, where you check in with yourself, see how you're emotionally feeling, see how your mind's at, where your mind's at. Do you need anything extra throughout the day? Are you tired? Just acknowledging where you're at in the moment is a good start. Then if you're feeling anxious, starting to realize, okay, is this just an anxiety from this, or is it anxiety for thinking too much in the future? Because Raphael's saying the more you kind of come back to self, you can actually start to learn how to manage your mind and your emotions, because a lot of it is because people are disconnected. They're getting distracted with media, they're getting distracted with food, they're getting distracted with TV. And so it's almost like a way of coming back to yourself is through mindfulness. And mindfulness is a really simple way of bringing yourself back to the now. That helps you to keep yourself present, so that when something does come up, you're not reacting just because of a subconscious belief. You're actually dealing with the here and now. And that's really hard if you've got a lot of responsibilities and you're trying to manage it all. Sometimes the mind gets to a point that it can't manage anymore. That's when you need to get help. The angels are saying that all of it's in balance. All of it's about bringing in things you feel that will help you, not just following what other people say. Like tuning into yourself and saying, what do I need right now? Do I need to talk to somebody? Do I need to write it down? Do I need to go to someone properly, professionally, and get some help? Do I need to go to the GP? Like really starting to ask those questions for yourself. But that can only happen when you kind of realize you're at a point where you need to ask for help. So it's actually quite hard for human beings to ask for help. So that's the first step, is actually acknowledging that something's not right with yourself and mental health. The second step is, what kind of help do I need? Do I need to emotionally feel a bit better? Is it mentally I'm not coping? Is it physically I'm not coping? Am I just really tired? Like identifying it. And if you don't know, talk to a good friend who you can trust, or a family member, if you have that support, and kind of just get an idea of what they're seeing from you. Because sometimes it's really hard to see how you are, and especially if you're depressed or have anxiety, you don't think it's that bad, or you don't even think there's an issue until someone says, hey, you've been a bit kind of withdrawn lately. The other thing Archangel Raphael is saying is that everything around you, so there are resources that you can tap into, so like helplines, counseling lines, like they're all available to you. So that's one way of gaining help. The second help is calling in your angels and guides to direct you to the type of help that you need. So I was asking my guides and angels kind of every day. I'm like, because I was in a very bad space, I was saying, show me a way. And I just had given up hope because I had no joy left. It's literally, you wake up each day, go through the motions, and you're kind of lost. You don't feel anything. It manifests very differently in other people. But what they're saying is, it is possible to bring yourself back to balance. And it's all about bringing yourself into equilibrium. What happened was, with the anxiety and depression, it kind of, when it does hit you, it causes a big divide between your spirit and your body and mind, because you're disconnecting, because you're not coping. So a lot of it's just kind of coming back into center and rebalancing in the heart. And there are many ways of doing it, whether it's through Reiki, crystal healing, going to church, like whatever you believe in. It's just a matter of starting to do it a day at a time. Archangel Raphael is saying the way to cope with things, even on a scale of what we're going through right now, is just take it a day at a time. That's one of the things to take pressure off yourself, expectations, because the mind just gets so heavy that it collapses inwards. So it's almost like learning our boundaries, like whereabouts do we start saying no to people? Is it when we're so down in the dumps that we can't even say no anymore? Like it's kind of putting a line in the sand with kind of where you end and where someone begins. It's learning boundaries, like when is it too much for you? When to say no? When to say yes? Having the strength to do that, and knowing that you can do that with loved ones. People that who respect and love you and honor you should respect your boundaries. If you are not getting that from people, realizing, can I remove myself from that situation where I am able to have some quality time, not necessarily by yourself, because sometimes when you're depressed, that's all you want. And it's actually asking for help, really. That's the biggest thing. And it's not thinking that you have to do it one way, be coerced into it. You've got to really follow your heart and ask your guides and angels to guide you to the people that you need to be with, like guide you to the counselors that you can go to, guide you to the doctors. Get the most perfect nurses, like they will support you and have I'll call it a wraparound service. They will provide you with all the facilities you need, but you need to be open to receiving that help. But the first thing you've got to say to them is help, because angels and guides cannot cross your free will. So that's the first thing Raphael's also saying. He's also saying that it's really important to acknowledge that we're all going through this at the same time. So just saying you're not alone, that there are people in the world, no matter how spiritually evolved, maybe their mind is not as in chaos, but they still are feeling somewhat to a little bit or degree of what's going on in the planet. But I guess Raphael is saying, say Dalai Lama, for example, or people who are Eckhart Tolle, people who have kind of really mastered the mind, they are going through this kind of planet right now with these things, and they're using tools and techniques to keep their mind in order. And what Raphael is saying is, it is possible. It is possible to be able to control the mind and take your power back, so that you have power over your mind, not your mind has power over you. So that takes a combination of a lot of things. Like it really takes you wanting the help, wanting to do it for yourself, not to do it for anybody else. But I guess Raphael really wanted to just acknowledge everybody out there that's really struggling right now, or even struggled in the past, because I'm here to say it is possible to move through depression, mental health, and get to the other side and be stronger and more powerful than ever. I think people get scared of thinking that they don't want to face what's kind of not right with themselves. And it's not even saying you're wrong or right, just something's off with yourself. You don't feel yourself, and you can't identify it. And sometimes it takes a family or friend. But I say to people my story because I've been through hell and back. Because that's how it was. It was the dark night of the soul. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, even harder than childbirth. And I had to go deep within myself and go through the darkness of myself and then come out the other side. And I had no hope left. I honestly was relying on Spirit, whoever you want to believe in, I had nothing left. Like, I literally gave up on spirit as well. There was no turning back. I had to go through this pathway in order to get to the other side. And that's why today I'm standing here saying it is possible. And the angels work through you, and it doesn't matter what you go through, what circumstances, they're always with you. So that's the first point. That's also a point Raphael wants to say. So he wanted to come on and acknowledge that the angels are truly aware of how much suffering is going on. But also at the same time, they also know that we have the key to get ourselves out of it. So we kind of have all the abilities. Like, there are so many trained professionals out there. There is also heaps of people that are supportive and loving. If you are isolated and alone, ask for angels to help you to get people to contact you. Like, if you're really struggling, ask them, like, help, please show me the way. Like, show me what to do. Like, show me the people that can come in and help me. Like, let them take over, because sometimes as humans we think we've got to do it on a human level. I thought that I had to just go to counselling and that it would be fixed, or try some herbal stuff. But it was so much more than that. And the angels kind of slotted in people without even me asking. I kind of just said, help, I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore. And I was in a very dark space. I had a child, I had a husband. I struggled, and I struggled to get out of bed each day. I struggled to go to work. It got to the point where I needed to go on medication because I had no other choice at that point. And I wasn't a choice I took lightly. And I did all my research, and the angels just said, you need to do this in order to kind of come out the other side. And I never thought to this day that I'd go through that pathway. But now, like, it's taken me a good 2 years to really get back into a sense of self. And you know what? I would say that was what got me to where I am today. So all that learning lesson has made me a better teacher. It's made me a better person. It's made me stronger in who I am, my sense of self, on the other side of this all. It is possible. There's always hope. And that's the message. There are so many angels and guides waiting to work with you, but you need to give them the signal to come in and help you. So this is the big message. Raphael is saying, call them in. If you want help with your mind, body, or spirit, call them in to help you with equilibrium, balance, getting your mind back into a good state of affairs, he's saying. Because he wants you to know that the angels want you to know you're not alone. That's the biggest thing. There are other people going through the same thing as you, but also the angels get it. Like, they can see the energies around people. They can see, and they're with you when you're crying. They're with you when you're struggling. So just hold on to the hope and the faith, because the angels are with you. That's the first message if you need to hear this. That it does end. Suffering does end. It's not going to be forever, even though it feels that way. There is hope. But you need to take it each day at a time. You need to do the best you can, and that is all that the angels and guides ask of you. So that's really important. They also want you to know that the other thing they want you to know is that this will settle down. The energy of what's going on in the planet will settle down. We are going through to the other side. We're going through the tunnel right now. We will get to the other side. This is reassurance. In the meantime, while we are going through this, just to limit the distractions, limit the stress, limit the anxiety, limit just anything that's going to pull you down, your vibration, your energy, your consciousness, because the only way is up. If you've hit rock bottom, the only way is up. It can't get any worse than having depression, anxiety, or any other mental health issue. If you can overcome it, you can overcome anything in life. And you'll see that people who come through this have a resilience that can never be broken. So know that there is always hope. And this is a strong message I've been just called out to say to people from the angels and Archangel Raphael, Archangel Metatron, and Michael. Call them in if you need strength, courage, resilience, if you're just not able to do it. But you've got to actually ask for the help, not just on a spiritual level, but on a mental level. You need to get help for your mind. You need to get help for your body. So if your body is out of balance with hormones, if you're not sleeping enough, you need to get the proper help. So it's all it's more of a holistic view of mental health. What he is saying is we're really strong and resilient, that no one has been broken yet in the mind that they haven't been able to overcome. If people have not gotten out of mental health issues, it's because either there's a genetic component going on, there are things that they're learning, And it's sad, obviously, to go through it and watch people with mental health issues to a degree where a lot of it is also like things that have happened in their past is a big trigger for mental health issues. So it's what's happened as a child, what they've been exposed to in the environment. So there's a lot of compounding factors, and he doesn't want you to advise one way or another. What he wanted to come on today and say is acknowledging everybody and what humanity's going through. But there's also light at the end of the tunnel, and that there is a bright future ahead of us, and he wants us to hold on the hope. So he just wants us now to place our hands on our hearts and just, we're going to do, I'll just ask you to close your eyes, and we're just going to do an invocation. So we now call in Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Archangel Raphael for healing and balance of the mind, body and spirit, to just bring us clarity to how we can help ourselves in the here and now. Please give us direction, guidance and small steps to take to help us bring us back into equilibrium, balance, and to be able to integrate the past and do the healing required for us in the here and now. Please individually guide us for what's in our highest good. Please show us the people that we need to work with or be with in order to help our minds come back into balance. Please call in our Kia Hope to help us hold the hope and faith in ourselves and others, and so it is. So he's also now just saying, surround yourself with a beautiful pale blue light of Mother Mary. So we're going to call in Mother Mary's energy today. So we now invite in Mother Mary to just surround us now with your beautiful blue ray, your gentleness of the light blue ray, and Archangel Michael's strength of the deep royal blue ray, sapphire blue ray. And just open your heart to this beautiful pink ray. So we now see unconditional love coming into our hearts. Just filling up our cup to overflowing so that we are able to be rejuvenated and regenerated by Archangel Chamuel. So Archangel Chamuel now surrounds you with love, unconditional love, divine love, cosmic love, in which you need right now, and so it is. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so I'm just going to continue on with some cards and see what direction we can go in. So we're just going to go to the Ascended Masters and see what they've got to say about mental health, or just mental health in general. We'll see what they've got to say, shall we? So the first message I've got, and I knew this would come up, drink more water. So why do we need to drink more water? Why is this important to mental health? Can you guess? Because our mind and bodies are connected. So drinking more water. Ocean is saying a powerful way or powerful tool of helping our mental health is to drink plenty of water, because obviously our bodies are made up of 70% of water. But a lot of us are dehydrated, and that actually impacts on how we function, our brain. So one of the messages, one of the biggest things you can do for yourself is drink more water. A silly thing to say, but really simple, but it's very true. The other thing she is saying is, in order to help clear your head, going to the ocean helps you to kind of bring ease to your emotions, and it helps to rebalance your mind. So being around a body of water can really help your mental health. She's also saying the ocean, if you can ever swim in the ocean, if you're able to, really cleanses the mind and the soul and the body. It's almost like a deep cleansing. It's like going through a washing machine, she's saying. It really helps to kind of go near a body of water, go into water. If you're not able to kind of have a shower or anything, or even go into the ocean, you can have saltwater bath, or just even have water with you and bless it and drink it. So it's really that connection to emotions as well, because your mind is connected to emotions. Listening to your emotions, when you're really distraught with your emotions, actually taking the time to listen, because what we are doing is we're kind of avoiding our emotions, and we're distracted, and we're actually not nipping it in the butt early, and it kind of just keeps building and building to the point where we're actually bursting, and it kind of comes out as an anxiety or a trigger. So one of the steps you can take is writing your emotions down, having a journal, also talking it out with people, communicating. We're social beings. We're meant to be talking to other people. We're not meant to be isolated. It's nice to be in your own space, but we are social beings. We are born into this earth plane to interact with other human beings. And even that's not on a physical level, you can still do it through talking. So pick up the phone and actually contact someone you feel you haven't talked to in a while. That's one of the messages. So the next message from Cypress Bay is go now. It is time for us to start taking responsibility for our minds. This isn't going to go away just by imagining it to disappear. It's actually going to start transforming once we start taking our power back and actually acknowledging we have the power to change it. So the message from Cypress Bay is go now. It is time for us to take charge of our own minds, take charge of, if we can, and if we can't, ask for help. Ask for help to take charge of your mind, to bring our minds back into balance. That's what it's about. Right, next message. El Maria, clear and shield your energy. We're in a time where there are so many energies going on. So El Maria is saying that you need to place extra protection around yourself, especially when you're going to groups or social situations or people where there is heavy energy. Even wearing a crystal for protection, if you're into Reiki, using that, like calling in Archangel Michael. El Maria also has the blue ray. It's not the protection of stopping love flowing in. It is more for the purpose of stopping stuff that's not actually yours and actually discerning, learning to say to people, that's not my stuff. Because if you're heavy with things already, you can't cope with other people's rubbish or bull, you know what I mean? So it's time for us to start kind of putting boundaries in place and saying, that's not my stuff. I will do me. You can do yourself. So acknowledging that you've got your own stuff and you've got to do you first. That's the most important lesson. And once you start learning that, then you can start putting others after that, because you come first. Your relationship with yourself is the most important, because when you go to the other side, you only have to answer to you. There is no one else you answer to. It is on your consciousness, like how you treat people, how you walk through life. It all comes back to you, how you treated yourself. At the end of the day, that's what matters. So really take the time to believe in yourself, trust yourself, and open your heart to the divine, because Spirit has miraculous ways of working with people, and it's just opening your heart to that truth that you are loved, you are worthy, you are taken care of. The message is just allow the divine to come in and support you. That's one of the messages. And if you need help with clearing and support and guidance, call them in, because you hold your own answers. No one has the answers for you. That's also the other thing. How to get yourself out of your situations, you only hold the key. And sometimes we're so confused in the mind. We've been given too many options. We've been bombarded with energies. You need to almost go away, take yourself away, like to a body of water, to the ocean, and just really clear your head, because this is where state of mind comes in. Mental health, mental well-being. Like, it's actually putting, being able to kind of know when your limits, when you've reached a line where you can't no longer function, or this is your limit with tolerance, and actually pulling yourself back and pulling your energy back. Because sometimes people will take advantage of that. So it's really kind of having your, learning how to have clear boundaries. And if you call in Michael to place a line of protection around you, and just say to him, can you please let me know when people are starting to encroach on my energy field, then I can kind of push out so that they're not coming into your space. That's your sacred space. Doesn't mean that you don't have loved ones around you and that you can't allow in, but it's just discerning for yourself what stuff you want to hang around and what stuff you don't. That's really what you learn. And you learn that over time, and you learn that through just moving through life as well, life lessons. So next message. Okay, so Kuthma, stay focused. This is a big message. Humanity's got to stay focused with the mission. What is it that we want to manifest? If we want to manifest this, what steps do we need to take? Limiting things that are going to sabotage us. So being kind to one another, supporting each other, like Staying focused on the purpose of oneness, that is the truth. Like, we're all here to support each other, like not bring each other down, not be nasty, because that also causes trauma and causes mental health issues for our children, for older adults. Like, this is like broad spectrum. So we also do it to ourselves sometimes. The way we talk to ourselves, self-criticism, the way we talk to other people. Take responsibility with your words. If you're angry, move away and think about what you're saying. We have choice. No person on this earth does not have a choice. We have free will to choose what comes out of this. So the angels are saying we really got to be kind to one another. When you're going to say something or say something on media, if it's not nice, don't even bother saying it, because it's almost like that energy is going to take someone's power away. Why are you even saying it unless it is a proper, what is it called? Assertiveness. Doing it assertive where there is a balance of emotion, not being aggressive or be passive aggressive, like being in the assertive range. That's okay to communicate if you are saying it from your perspective and how it's impacting on you, but it doesn't give you the right to judge. It doesn't give you the right to just bully people. So the angels are saying be very careful and mindful about what you're saying to people, because people may be going through a struggle and you're the final straw. So be kind to people, because you don't know the battle that people are fighting within themselves. The other thing I'm hearing is trust. You need to call in the angels to help you to trust yourself, because a lot of us do not trust ourselves enough. And that is a work in progress, but that's okay. They're saying that my Archangel Michael and Akia Faith are saying if we had more trust in ourselves, we wouldn't be going to seek validation from other people or external forces. So the more that you learn to trust yourself, the more that you stop caring about what people think, listening to other people's opinions. That can take with time, life experience, but it's a good skill to have and a good skill to master as well. Okay, one final message, or two. So I've got here again, El Maria, cleanse and shield your energy. This is really what we need to do. The other message is yes. So we've got Ganesh here. So Ganesh is about, yes, it is time for us to move. It is time for us to start moving upwards and outwards, not stuck in our heads. It is time. So big fat yes. It is time. If you're wanting an answer, yes, it is time for whatever you're thinking or wanting to do. It is time. So that's a nice message. All right. Sorry, I'm going to get the Ascended Masters. So the next deck we've got is more Ascended Masters. So I'm going to get 3 messages from them. Very helpful messages. So we've got here Paul the Venetian. So he walks with the pink grey, and he talks about experiencing grace. Sharing your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to us. So we're getting all these new ideas on how to look after ourselves. It's about self-love this year, self-acceptance. That's really strong this year, is to coming back to your heart. And Paul the Venetian is saying that the only way is love. There is no other way back to wholeness. And if you can start focusing on what you can do for yourself first and foremost, from a space of grace and love. What is one thing you can do for yourself today? Is it saying something nice to yourself? Is it actually doing something for yourself? Because the more you're able to fill your cup, as you know, you cannot give to others unless you have a full cup yourself. So that's what Paul the Venetian is saying, to help with your mental health, because our state of mind gets out of whack when we start to give when we're empty. We start to go past our boundaries of self-preservation. We start to give so much that we empty ourselves, and that causes depression, anxiety as well. It's when you've reached your breaking point of doing too much for others and the balance isn't there. Okay, next message. So we've got, I'm going to say it, Mahavata Babajia, soul expansion. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connection between all things. So this is explaining why we are having a tough time with our mind more than ever. The consciousness is expanding. It's blowing the mind apart. Our mind can't cope. We need to start learning new ways of doing things for ourselves. New ways of doing things, new ways of acknowledging ourselves, new ways of honoring ourselves. So everything's going to change in regards to how we see ourselves, how we start looking at holistic health. So our health The way we look at health needs to change. So it's about bringing us back into integration, wholeness and balance. So we're really going to start going into a period of kind of going within, going back to the land, going back to basics, going back to just spending time with family. All the simplicity is what's required to keep us in a good state of equilibrium, because that's what the body's always doing. The body's always trying to be in a state of equilibrium, like our minds. You got to find your center. So last message. It's coming. Oh, Isis, powerful goddess. Look at her in her power. So she talks about your dreams, vision and goals are becoming a reality. Stay focused. So we got the second message. What does this message mean for you? Stay focused. Stay focused on your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. Don't get distracted. All the shiny things around you. Don't move yourself away from the truth. Come back to center and realize your truth. Start listening to your truth. Don't get bombarded or confused, or start bringing your energy away from external things and coming back to yourself. It's really important. Right. We've got the dragons here. So what dragons? They're really helpful creatures in regards to just reality. Like, they really do help on that physical level as well as spiritual level. So what can we know from the dragons right now? What kind of energy do we need? Oh, look at that. Fire dragon. Burn, baby, burn. That's what I'm hearing. So burns up lower energies around you. You are safe and protected. Clear your soul pathway. So this is about us using the violet flame in regards to clearing the old. So using the violet flame is really powerful in regards to, you can use it in the mind to clear subconscious, conscious beliefs. It's Saint Germain, it's Archangel Zadkiel. It's really just sitting in the violet flame to kind of transmute, dissolve, to bring us back into a sense of safety and balance. And I'm hearing burn, baby, burn. That's kind of what I'm hearing. It's time for us to burn all the old away from us. See the stars at the top? That's hope and inspiration. But we've got to go through the fire to come out the other side. The phoenix rising from the ashes. So it's going to be a challenging year in regards to looking at what you need to do in order to rise above the illusion of things in this world. I've got the same message again, same card. It's about dissolving the illusion. This is what's happening as well on our planet. Consciousness is shifting from 3D to 5D to above. This consciousness can no longer survive on this planet. Mother Gaia is also expanding her consciousness, and we're moving up. And all of us have to move up with her. And in order for us to release the density, we've got to use the violet flame. We've got to use all the tools that we know of and are out there to kind of move ourselves out of this heaviness. One more card. Right, next dragon. This is called the Earthen Fire Dragon. So works with you to clear the 5th dimensional ley lines. It's time for service. When you give, you receive. So this is about a really deep, we were just talking about Mother Gaia, ley lines on the planet. Mother Gaia has chakras as well. When we are clearing for the collective. We are clearing for Mother Gaia. There are portals on this planet, as Diana Cooper, if you want to know more, talks about different chakras. So there is a chakra in Australia which is near to us, the solar plexus. It's about empowerment. It's about strength. So if you live around the continents, around those chakras, you will find that your chakra will be stimulated. So we're going through in the southern hemisphere. If you're in New Zealand or Australia, it is about taking your power back. We are mastering this right now. So each continent, I think England has the heart chakra. So they are learning about love and balancing love and the concept of love on all levels. So all of us are doing our part. We cannot do our part alone. We've got to do it collectively. One more message. Sorry, this came up. The green dragon helps you tune into the secrets of nature, receive answers and guidance from nature. This is our answer. Going back to nature, going back to our true nature, going within nature. Really does help going for a good walk, getting oxygen in your lungs. Your body is designed to move. Your body is designed to be around nature. Your body is a part of nature. We are made from nature. We are a living being like every other cosmic being on this planet, sentient being. We were created from a cell. We all go back to the earth. Right. So I'm now going to connect into Archangel Michael. What can he help us with, to help us with right now in regards to our mental health? First message, the initiation rite of passage, crossing the threshold. So I told you through the messages of the angels that we were going through this pathway. We're going through up the steps to the other side. We're still in this tunnel. We're getting initiated into the new realms. This is just confirmation that what I was saying is absolutely true. So it says rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Next message. Priestess. The rise of the divine feminine. We know this is happening. So it says, how are you being called to step up and lead? So that is the question Michael is saying. How are you being called to step up and lead? It doesn't mean you go and become a supervisor. How are you doing your part? Divine priestess. It's also confirmation that the divine feminine is rising. So that's why Mother Gaia she's almost splitting herself in half, because everything's coming up to the surface, and it's going to be healed through the divine feminine. The balance of the divine male and the divine female. So in our brain structures, we have a divine male and divine female. We have a left side and right side of our brains. So what's happening is we also have something called Archangel Raphael talks about our Kundalini energy, the two snakes at the back that kind of intertwine with all our chakras. That's to do with our raw energy. So what's happening is Mother Gaia is opening up and allowing the Kundalini to come up to the surface to help transformation. So each of us are going through our own period of transformation, and a lot of us are getting a Kundalini woken up. So if you want to know about more Kundalini, please look it up for yourself. But it's basically when it opens up our raw potential of humanity. So each of us hold a seed of possibility, and the seed is very unique to us. And when the Kundalini wakes up, it means great transformation on the mass level. So that's what's happening. Really interesting to know, actually. So another message, don't dim your light to fit in. So how are you dimming your light in order to fit into society? So how are you dimming your light? Good question to think about. Next card, transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. This is just confirmation our bodies are going through a huge transformation, so are our minds. Our minds are going to evolve to a point where we're no longer going to need to keep balancing it. We are going to be balanced. So we're going through a state of transformation. Right, so I'm going to ask you to do a pick a card, and I'm going to ask your angels and guides, what messages do you need to know right now to help you bring balance back into your mind? Because that's really why we're here, is to help you with your mind, if there is anything helpful. So if you can pick pile 1, 2 or 3, I'm going to get some guidance from the angels and guides for you today in regards to mental health and keeping and assisting you maintaining your mental health in a healthy way, healthy well-being, mental health. So message for pile number 1. So your first message, what do you need to know right now in regards to your mental health? Boundaries. So pile number 1, where do you need to establish better boundaries? So you are giving your energy away to too many people. So this card is saying it is time for you to get really clear about your boundaries. Boundaries are a good thing. Knowing when to say no. Knowing when to pull away, knowing when to hang out with those people, knowing when to say stop, I've had enough, I'm done with your drama, or I'm done with your energy. It doesn't have to be done in a physical way, it can be done in a spiritual way, like I'm done, I'm pulling myself away. Calling in your angels and guides to help you identify what your boundaries are. So that's message number 1. So I've got this deck It is Dr. Libby Weaver, wellness cards. So what can you do right now to help you with your mental health? So these are wellness cards, great to have. My friend bought it for my Christmas present, love them. So pile number 1, what message do you need right now? Wellness cards. So this can be to do with, yeah, I've got the message. Okay, so we've got here, first message, vitamin D. Your amazing body creates vitamin D from sunlight. The sun's rays act on cholesterol in your skin, and after some attention from your liver and kidneys, you then have an active form of vitamin D needed for healthy immune response, strong bones, and emotional resilience, among countless other functions getting regular. Wise sun exposure helps to optimize your level of this critical nutrient. So the message for pile number 1 is go outside, get some more vitamin D in a safe way. So this is going to help your mind. So that's really helpful, pile number 1. Pile number 2, let's get right in there. What do you need, pile number 2, to help with your mental health? Okay, pile number 2, forge, not follow. Pave a new pathway, be the leader you wish you had. So, what does this message mean for you? The message I'm getting is stop trying to kind of conform. Stop trying to follow other people's ways. Figure out what you're about. Take the time to listen to yourself and start forging your own way, because that's the only way that you can go. You can only make your own path. You can't copy others. You can't mimic others. You can learn from other people what they're talking about, but you can only truly learn when you walk your own path. So what are you afraid of? Why are you why are you holding your power back? Be the leader you wish you had. It's almost too that it's talking about having confidence in yourself. So what's stopping you from believing in yourself? Is it a subconscious belief? Is it a pattern from childhood? Do you need to do the work required to get yourself to a point where you are able to forge? Do you need to break through the mental barrier that you have through counseling or going and seeking professional help? Because you have a path full of light within you, but the card is saying you need to break through this. So what steps can you take? Okay, so so I'm going to shuffle. Look at this deck. Huge. So it's got mind, body, and spirit cards. So it's got like nutrition. Okay, so this is the message for you, pile number 2. This one, it's just words. It says, what if this were easier? Next time you come across something that feels difficult, ask yourself, what if this was easier? And see what your mind came up with. When we ask our brain a question, it is wired to offer us an answer. If we're wandering around thinking about how difficult something is, our brain will give us evidence of this difficulty. Instead, flip this around and ask yourself, what if this were easy? You might be amazed at the answer and the insight that follows. Lovely. So message number 3. What do you need to know right now about your mind? Right. So one of the biggest things you're going through right now is it says you are not alone. So the feelings of isolation, the feelings of not being enough, the feelings of not belonging. So there are emotions there that you need to start listening to and actually start acknowledging. Start actually asking for help from your angels and guides. This is what's preventing you from moving into your power. What is keeping you out of your balance in your mind. And what it is saying is there are so many people around you that actually are there that love you, but you can't see it because of what's going on, the distortions in your mind. There's also a beautiful connection there. There are people that you are connected to that are bringing you a lot of light. And you need to kind of start focusing them more, discerning and choosing to stay around those people rather than staying around the people that don't serve you anymore. You're outgrowing people, that's the message, and your mind is really struggling to let people go, let circumstances go, let jobs go. Like, there are things that need to go. And what it's also reminding you is you can call in help for this. Okay. message. Right. Message number 3. Ooh, okay. I just, this is great. Just synchronized. Message number 3, emotional cards. It says, getting to the root of your stress. How do you need others to see you? As kind, thoughtful, selfless, hardworking, efficient, intelligent, independent, hilarious, perfect, or in any other way. Make a list, and then the next time you feel stressed, pause and consider if you are perceiving that someone is seeing you in a way that is opposite of the one of these words. Helping our minds to make sense of where the roots of our stress originate from is a great way to get out of the stress cycle. Getting to the root of your stress. Right. Right, so we're going to end with some advice and guidance from Archangel Metatron, the guy that helps us, the Archangel that helps us with Ascension, and just to see where we can go from there. And we're finally going to hear a message from Buddha, because Buddha is about moving beyond the mind of suffering. So, 3 final messages from Metatron, please. Right, first message. This message has come up before. Retreat, rest, and pause. That's the message. Rest, retreat, and pause. We are in the void. We are going through the tunnel. Just remember that it's not going to go on forever, we will get through this together. Whew. I can just really feel that strong message from Metatron. He really wants you to believe that there is a possibility of going out to the other side and for it to be lighter. Message number 2, the new dawn. So we've gone through the tunnel, we're out the other side. This is the possibility. This is what we're facing. Welcome back, a new dawn. Metatron is giving us an inspiration. The sun is rising. It's there. We're on the tip of it. One more message from Metatron. So we're talking about the heart center. The way back to wholeness is through the heart healing. So also looking at what you need to do in regards to your heart, because your heart's connected to your mind. Bringing this back into balance, mind and heart. Wearing green, eating foods that have got green in it, surrounding yourself with Archangel Raphael's green. There are meditations on YouTube. You can call in Archangel Raphael to help you to bring balance, integration, and wholeness back to yourself. Raphael is excellent. He's even designed this whole video for you so that you understand you are important and that you matter and that your mental health matters. Right, Buddha. So we've got Buddha here. Buddha wants to just channel through a message for me. So Buddha is just talking about the pathway of ascension is not easy. It never was going to be easy. People are not going to get their quick fix. They can't move through the steps quickly. There is a process of steps that need to be taken in order for us to ascend properly. And we are going through the motions. He is asking us to take our time with those steps. Not to rush the steps, to slow down. Buddha is saying the key to freedom of your mind is through mindfulness and being in the moment. It is really simple. But in order to do this, you do need to kind of encourage yourself to stay in the moment, but also do the work underlining what's keeping you from being in the moment and looking at those aspects of self. So in your mind, your conscious, your subconscious, getting some help, reading self-help books, looking at YouTube videos, really discerning and calling in your angels and guides to guide you to the people or whoever it is that you need to go to for assistance, because ultimately you hold the answers. You shouldn't be going to anyone for your answers. It should be you. And people are there to support you through confirmation, but ultimately beings and angels and guides and people, they never take your power away. They always support you and empower you to make your own decisions. So Buddha is saying, empower yourself today by first acknowledging where you are at in the moment, asking for help and allowing the help to come to you. Then once you've done that, start stepping up and really wanting to make the changes. And meditation is excellent, as you know, to help with controlling the mind. You're never going to keep it restrained, but what it does is it helps you to train yourself in discipline. Discipline of the mind, like discipline of the body. If you do boot camp exercise, it's about mastering your mind. And if there are people that you look up to, like reading Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, looking at, you know, Buddhist monks, like do whatever it is you need to do in order to get your mind back in a better space. But you've got to start somewhere, and you've got to build from the ground up. He's talking about you can't just come in sideways and try and hit it that way. You've got to start from the root core issues, and a lot of it is either fear or love. So looking at your childhood, helping yourself to help you. That's the message from Buddha. So I'm just going to end with just a small meditation, just to ease us into the energy of the evening and just clarity. So I'll ask you to close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. So we're going to connect to our bodies, taking our time. And now I'm going to ring this beautiful bowl, and it's just going to help you to open up your third eye and allow the light to enter. Because the third eye is what's being activated right now with all this stuff going on. It's to clear up the third eye so that we're clear. We can see the truth. And next week I will do working with Earthen of Cyclopeia, the all-seeing eye. And that is where we're going to work through the third eye and understanding how the third eye plays its part within our ascension process. And I feel that we'll be going through a guided meditation with Cyclopeia, Elohim, who is one of the closest ones to the Creator. So if you just close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, we now call in beautiful Lord Buddha's peace, Lord Buddha's clarity, Lord Buddha's ascension energy to help open our third eye and our minds on all levels of being, to just bring in the gold Christ consciousness, the great cosmic light, to fill our minds on all levels. And as I ring this bowl, it opens up the third eye to allow more light in. So just feel your third eye open now to receive this beautiful angelic energy with divine gentle ease and grace. And this will bring just gentleness throughout the night, help you to wake up in the morning with clarity. So I just want to hold this up and just say that the angels are with you. They're holding you like this angel here, holding your heart. You're never alone, and remember that there's always beings there ready to help you. You just need to ask and allow them to help you in whatever way, and it may be in a way you don't expect. And believe in miracles, because they do happen. And there's always a reason for going through something. There's always a lesson. And until you go through it and you get to the other side, you don't know the gifts that you're given. But know that through to the other side, there are always gifts. And it doesn't make it any easier, but know that they are with you day by day, moving you through each day. And know that it's okay to not be okay. And they want to celebrate you and say you're doing really well, you're strong, you're independent, you've got this. And to know that you are dearly, truly loved by the angels. So I hope this video has brought some hope, some inspiration, just some clarity. And know that we're all in this together. We can move through it. There are many, many miracles and blessings and examples of people moving through various things through the mind, and know it is possible. So thank you for joining me, and I hope that this comes to you at a perfect time for you. And lots of love and light to you all. Thank you.